I'm Kat.
And I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy, a tipsy night class teaching the oddities and curiosities you never learned in school.
Powered by a thirst for knowledge and boxed wine, we cover the most fascinating lessons in history, science, true crime, pop culture, and the paranormal.
What are we drinking for this learning journey, Hayley?
I'm sipping on a little White Claw guy, a tropical pomelo smash.
Ooh, mellow smash or melon smash?
Pomelo.
Oh.
What is that?
Pomelo?
Pomelo.
Isn't it like a type of grapefruit or like a red orange?
I don't know, but I really like it. It's it's quite good.
What does it taste like it is?
It tastes kind of like grapefruit, but better than their original grapefruit.
Okay,
Yeah.
I do think it's a type of grapefruit.
You might be
I was
thinking,
wondering if they
I'd be
just
thinking
made
of
up.
pamplemousse, the
Oh.
like LaCroix.
Yeah, pamplemousse is a grapefruit in German, so maybe that's what I'm getting it confused with.
I'm in uncharted territory, really, is what it is. What
Yeah.
are you drinking?
I'm drinking a mango dragon fruit lemonade refresher from Starbucks.
Yum.
It is very tasty. And on the other side of me, I have a water because it's 11 a.m., but Hayley's going for it.
It is. I am fully going for it. I mean, it's kind of like false advertising. We just got done talking about how we're powered by knowledge and box wine. And we haven't drank wine in so long.
I know, it has been a long time, and we were talking about doing mimosas today, and I really considered going and getting them, but I was up so late last night and then had to wake up early this morning to do my notes, and I was like so fucking tired that I think if I tried to drink champagne right now, I would just pass out.
It just was not happening. Well, we can do it next week.
Yes.
And we've had a busy weekend already. Yesterday we recorded 2 Patreon episodes. Of course, our favorite trivia, which Kat won.
I finally
Spoiler
won.
alert.
Yeah, I guess
Finally.
that was a spoiler. It was very exciting. I am the most smartest of them all, and
This time, 1 out of 3.
I'm going to win every time from now on. I've gotten a taste, and I'm going to study next time.
I
to
told
ensure a
Tommy
win.
that you won, and he's like, did she listen to the episodes?
No.
And I was like, no, she would literally never do that.
Also,
You're like, but she did threaten the host, so
I made a lot of threats, but
Things got ugly there at the end.
they did get a little ugly. And I think it would be really obvious if one of us listened to the episode beforehand, because even though I won, I only had like a 15% success rate.
Yeah, we forget so much. So if you have recently listened to those episodes, you might enjoy hearing us try to remember. And if you haven't listened, then you might enjoy that throwback. That's on our Night Cat Patreon level. But we also recorded our List Bitch episode for this month.
Yes, it was super duper fun. We were both science bitches this month. So
I love a good science bitch episode. It makes me feel so smart. Much
know.
smarter than I really am. But we don't
Yeah.
have to talk about that.
we can sound smart as long as we like read our notes verbatim.
Yeah, I love that us feeling smart is just us reading our notes, which we based on a bunch of lists that we found on the internet. Like
just
no,
regurgitating a BuzzFeed article.
no
So
actual
smart.
research was done. We're not in school or anything like that. We just, regurgitate BuzzFeed.
That's what it is.
So if you like lists, head over to Patreon.
Yeah, give us a little donation. We really appreciate you guys. And I've been eagerly anticipating this recording session because the other day, Hayley, me, and Justin were FaceTiming, and Hayley goes, "The funniest thing ever happened." And we're like, "Okay, tell us." And she's like, "I can't. I'm going to wait until the podcast." So I've been in a
Alex
state of
is-
edging.
So glad. Yeah, you've been edging for several days
Yeah.
now. And now I'm worried that it's not going to be as funny now as it was when it initially happened.
Okay.
But I still think it's really funny. Tommy and I were cracking up. Okay. So I'm doing my research this week. And I don't know why, but I was like, I'm going to Google night classy. What did I even Google? I Googled Night Classy. Oh yeah. Night Classy podcast Parasaur Studios just to see what the Google images that came up.
Yeah.
And most of them are us. It's like our Choose 901 article, things like that. And as I'm scrolling down the pages, I see a meme from Reddit, and it's this post, and it's from it's this username, and the the meme is about Apple Podcast, and
Okay.
it's like, you updated the Apple Podcast app, and the other side is like that princess from Lord of the Rings, I think. She's like, you made it better, right? And then she's like, you made it better, right? And I click on this user, and I don't know if I should even say the username, because I realized that I found Alex Reddit page. I saw the username, and it's Memphis related. I was like, this could be anyone. But I click on it, I'm like, what if it is Alec? And the very first, like the latest post, or the top one on the page, was basically Alec like shitting on Memphis, talking about how Nashville is getting better than Memphis. And I'm like, oh my God.
I think that was in a
It
thread
writes
that was
itself.
like, say what
Your
you
unpopular opinion.
is unpopular
Yeah.
about Memphis or something. Yeah.
I think I posted in that same thread and said the Otherland's coffee sucks.
Apparently they do. I don't even stray from Starbucks, so I don't know. But it took so long for me to be like, this is definitely Alec, until
Yeah.
I saw a picture of Georgia, and I was like, oh, it's definitely Alec.
That's
Alex's
so
Reddit
funny.
name is insane. Can
I
we
know.
say?
Well, I will say that account is like 12 or 13 years old. I got my cake day for it, and it was like, your account is 12 years old.
Wow. Even then, 12 years ago, I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, it
Does make
it's a
sense.
weird name.
It is weird.
Yeah, I'll explain it off the air.
Yeah, I didn't want to expose anyone. But yeah, that was just
Yeah.
so funny. We were looking through all your posts, Alex.
That's a nightmare scenario, is someone finding your Reddit account. I went through, and I've never posted anything like weird or risque or inappropriate on Reddit at all, but I still will go through and delete my posts because I just feel like it's embarrassing to post on Reddit. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why you're so embarrassed by it. I mean, you spend so much time on Reddit. You're like
I
a Reddit
know.
person.
I'm a lurker though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get like, it feels like very much like stage fright to post on Reddit because you never know how you're going to
it's
be
gonna go.
received.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm never even on Reddit. I'll occasionally go on, but I want to get into that sphere. I guess I do understand why it intimidates you so much, because I don't even get on it because of that reason. So
I once posted something, like I just like asked a question. I was like, is this so and so? It was like, I thought very innocent, and then like people did not like me
they
asking
came
that.
after you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's rude.
I mean, yeah. It was just like, it's just like you never know what you're gonna get. You never know.
Yeah, that makes sense. I need to make a new Reddit. I don't even know what my username is anymore or anything. But that was the thing. So
Yeah.
hopefully your edging, your blue balls aren't too bad.
No, that it felt good to hear you say that. And I mean, it's been a wild week for you, it sounds like, with your revelations. I just can't get over you telling me that your underwear has been going missing. I've been thinking about that a lot.
I have too, now that I said it out loud to someone and
Yeah.
seeing your face, because I was just like, oh, I just have 5 pairs of underwear when I used to have like 20.
Yeah, I was just casually sitting at Hayley's house. She gets an Amazon package. I'm like, what is it? She's like, oh, it's new underwear because I don't have any anymore. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, yeah, I came back from my trip and all my underwear are gone. As if someone's been fucking breaking into her house and stealing them. Like, you should wipe that smile off your face and change the locks, because that's scary.
I also think that it could just be me having a huge pile of laundry and they're all in there. So I started doing laundry today. I'll report back in a week to see if all of my underwear turns up. But if I get murdered, you know who did it.
Yeah. What if Tommy is like selling your underwear? Like, he actually got fired from his job like a while ago and he's making money pretending he has a job by selling your panties.
I would sell my panties.
Yeah.
People make a lot of money doing that.
Yeah.
I think they have
Slide
a good
into
angle.
necklaces, do you?
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, but I've heard and seen like TikToks of people talking about how they sell their underwear.
Yeah. I mean, if you go, I appreciate the hustle.
Yeah. Well, so that might be a future endeavor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did get my new underwear. Hopefully it fits well and everything. I haven't tried it on yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's my underwear update, everyone. In case you were wondering if my life is in danger, the answer is maybe.
Yeah. I really have been thinking about that a lot. So I hope you're
I've
okay.
been thinking about my underwear more than usual.
Yeah. I mean, it's usually crosses my mind every now and then, but like,
It's been a
especially
constant
the
top of
last
mind.
few days.
Well, thanks for worrying about me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
One update. Pomelo is a cousin of the grapefruit, but it's a giant grapefruit
It's
on steroids. They're like the size of a volleyball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
could
like a melon.
grapefruit fucking Bigfoot with that. You could grapefruit Bigfoot. This is where my mind goes. I can't. Yes, I don't think about grapefruit and think like, breakfast. I think sexual act.
I forgot about. I always forget about that, and my brain says, "Thank you. I'm glad we don't think about that anymore." And then
my
somehow
God.
it always gets brought back up.
I think about it way too often. I think that is a core memory.
Aren't grapefruits like very acidic? Wouldn't that hurt to have
If
a
you have
grapefruit on your
cuts
genitals?
penis, I'm sure if you're all cut up down there.
But I mean, it's a sensitive, like it's a mucus membrane. Like it could get into the pee hole.
I don't think it would be a thing if it hurt that much.
Is it really? No one actually grapefruits their man.
I'm sure people do.
No way. No way.
After that video went so viral, I don't know how people don't. At least once.
At least
I mean,
try.
I haven't. Have you?
No, because nobody does that.
Oh, I wish people did. If you have grapefruited anyone, please let us know. We're doing a study.
No, or don't.
just send us a grapefruit emoji.
Yeah, do people know what we're talking about?
If they
have to.
don't, they're lucky.
If you're listening to this right now and you're in the Night Classy demographic, I would hope you do. Maybe like our relatives who listen may not know.
I think we've talked about it on the show before, haven't
I would
we?
hope so.
At least on a Patreon. I don't know.
The girls who get it. The girls who don't.
If you don't get it, you're too young.
Or too old.
Or too old. Yeah. Anyway, do you have anything else? I think I
No, that's all I have.
covered all my pressing questions. All right. Well, I'm not drinking, and Hayley has taken like one sip of a White Claw, so we didn't bother to breathalyze.
So I'm going first,
Yeah.
bitches.
Go.
All right. In the early 1900s through the mid 1950s, sections of streets in Washington, D.C. started randomly collapsing on themselves. The collapses weren't a common occurrence, but it's surprising they didn't happen more often because the collapsing streets eventually unveiled a complete handmade underground tunnel system that they discovered in 1924 when an entire truck fell through the road. Washington Post headlines read, "Old tunnel here believed to have been used by Teuton." I don't know what that word is. I forgot to Google it. Teuton, war spies, and bootleggers. But this was not the case. It was purely speculative, and a journalist whose name I could not find anywhere was unsatisfied with that conclusion. So he went searching for the truth. He went all around DC, knocking on doors, just trying to talk to people, until he arrived at 804 B Street Southwest. He knocked on their door, and the tunnel maker confessed almost immediately. It was this guy named Harrison Gray Dyer.
Wait, he made the tunnels?
He made these motherfucking tunnels. Okay, and these are with his hands. It was just him. I have pictures. The first picture is where one of the street parts just caved in on itself.
Is he a mole?
They called him the Mole Man of DC.
Yeah, what the hell?
The second picture shows you these are not just like simple tunnels. They are,
oh my God,
they're paved. A full-grown man could stand up in them. You see those bricks in there?
Yeah, they're lined with like carefully laid brick.
Yes. Harrison Dyer was a unique man in every way possible. He said that he always dug the tunnels for exercise, but they were also functional. Okay, it all started because he had this furnace in his basement, and one day it was raining, and he didn't want to take the ash from his furnace to walk it out to the street where they dumped it in the rain. So he started digging a tunnel.
Yeah, that's less work.
And he just kept going. And it served him well because, you see, this man had 2 families, 2 wives, Neither of them knew about
Did he
each
build
other.
a tunnel connecting his two houses?
He built a fucking tunnel connecting the two houses. And this is not like they were in the same neighborhood. No. They were across Washington, D.C. from each other.
If you're going to put that much effort into having a secret family, you can just have one. Like, I think it's okay.
Yeah, if they haven't found out by then, like, you're spending a lot of the time in these tunnels, honey. Like, what's going on? And they were intricate too. Okay, this next picture, this is the initial tunnel that was under his first house. He did end up moving and made tunnels there too, but there are multiple levels to these tunnels.
Is underground just like free real estate?
Okay, I could not find out if he got in trouble for any of this. I don't think he did. They were just like, that's quirky. And now there's like the DuPont Underground in DC that I think started with these tunnels.
So I can't afford a house, but could I just like dig myself a tunnel and live in it?
Yeah, just call 311 before digging.
Are you going to describe this at all?
It basically looks like if you've seen those like hamster cages where they have the little connecting like plastic pieces, it's like that, but human size. Like you can like stand up and walk through these tunnels.
Yeah.
Lots of layers, lots of turns.
Yeah.
It says it's 32 feet deep at the bottom.
It's super intricate. Obviously, he did the bricks, but it's not like it was supported with beams and stuff. This was all done by him. It took over 10 years. On the next slide, we'll see a picture of him, and then I'll show you the map of where his two families' houses were.
He looks like a man who would spend most of his time underground.
He looks low-key insane. Yeah. Okay, here's the map. As you can see, you have tunnel, the two circles show where they're at, and you can see the White House is in between these two houses. So yeah, he has two families. He builds these tunnels so that he can see both of them inconspicuously. Neither of them know about each other, but the kids went to school together. They met at school and they were just talking one day, and they realized that both their dads had these weird tunnels. And
Oh my God.
both of their dads studied and worked at the Smithsonian. Dyer was a, quote, master etymologist, describing about 3,000 new species of butterflies and moths and 6,000 or 600 of the most hated beings across the globe. Mosquitos.
I thought you were going to say earthworms.
Not
Like,
earthworms.
He's had a lot of hands-on experience with earthworms.
You would think he's more of a mothman himself.
Yeah.
But no, mosquitoes.
Okay.
That is what today's lesson is on.
Mosquitos.
Mosquitoes. That
Ew.
was just a huge framing device that I could not leave out.
Before we leave it,
I love. Was this a case of you found this guy, wanted to do a lesson on him, it was too short, and so we had to make it about mosquitoes?
No, I wrote like 9 pages on mosquitoes, stumbled upon him, thought it was so interesting, and I was like, well, it could be like a 2-part lesson, but there wasn't enough on this guy and his tunnels, so he became the framing device.
Oh my God.
so hold on. These were actually connected?
Yes, this tunnel system was massive.
And conceivably went under the White House?
I don't know if it went under the White House or if it went around. I wish I had a complete map. Maybe one exists out there of all of his tunnels, but he was digging for over a decade.
Yeah, so for the people that are listening, the first one is up by DuPont Circle, and then it goes diagonally across the White House, and then it goes across the National Mall, and it's just below the National Mall, like right near the U.S. Capitol where it pops out.
Yeah.
So he was
It's like 10 blocks, it looks like, at least.
at least.
We should Google map it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Does
right.
the White House like have to like make sure no one digs up into it.
I'm sure they do. I mean, the White House has an underground system anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe they were just like, thanks.
Yeah. They like commissioned this guy to come build their tunnels for them.
Yeah. So that
All right,
was
you guys
crazy.
continue. I'll plot it on Google
Okay.
Maps.
Thank you. There are over 100 trillion mosquitoes on this planet at all times.
Ew.
Disgusting. And this was all inspired by me sitting outside earlier this week and being like, what the fuck are mosquitoes?
Gee,
Like,
what a shock. This lesson was inspired by me looking around and seeing 1,000 mosquitoes.
I wanted to know, like, are mosquitoes the assholes that I truly believe them to be? Like,
Yes.
do they actually not serve a purpose? What the fuck is up with mosquitoes? So male mosquitoes, in their defense, they do drink nectar and they do pollinate plants.
Okay.
But nowhere near the levels that bees pollinate. And they also don't take out the trash. They're not ingesting waste like some insects do. And they also aren't a major source of food for any animals. So they're pretty much menace material is what I'm getting here.
Why haven't we eradicated them?
Oh, we'll get to that.
Okay.
We've definitely tried things. And this guy wrote a whole book. I think his name is Timothy Ward. I'll cite him in a minute. But he talks about the two options that we have to kind of end mosquitoes from his point of view. Now, most mosquitoes have evolved resistance to chemicals and any human adaptations, such as sickle cell and Duffy negativity. I had no idea what this was, but Duffy antigens in human blood, they help with the resistance to the parasite that is malaria. And mosquitoes have also evolved to be able to spread, of course, mosquito-borne diseases. Evidence suggests that mosquitoes evolve much quicker than humans. And I wanted to know more about sickle cell and mosquitoes. And I'll just pull a direct quote here from one of my sources. I think it was this interview with that guy that I'll source in a minute. I should have cited him here. Sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. It's
Yes, give us the
2.4 miles.
Oh,
my
my
God.
God.
And interestingly, look where his thing popped out. Smithsonian Museum.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
He had to pop out for work, obviously.
Honey, I'm going to work.
I know. Which came first, the second family or his job?
He's
I'd
like, this
like to
commute
know.
is killing me.
Literally. But I'm sure he was ripped. You can't just dig 2.5 miles of underground tunnels and not be ripped, right?
How do you remove the dirt from something like that? Like
I think he just walked it up.
2
And
miles?
I don't think it was a straight shot either. He had like tunnels that went off on other sides. Like,
This is not real. There's no
it's
way.
too real. It's real.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He was
I'm so sorry I
very
derailed you
unique.
Literally
again there.
how?
That's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you were going to say something, Alec. Okay.
Oh, no. I'm fascinated by this now.
Yeah, it's insane.
I'll save it for later.
I wish there was more information on it
Yeah.
because I think there was like one podcast that I saw that covered this and their episode was pretty short. When you Google it and go to YouTube, there's one guy who's one of my sources who talks about it for literally 5 minutes. There's another video that touches on it. It's just very brief information.
Like if something like this happened today, there would be hundreds of news articles. They would be interviewing him on podcasts. There would be a documentary, but like it happened in 1920 and they're just like, oh, weird. Like this
they
guy
have
just
bigger
made
fish
tunnels.
to fry.
Not really.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's insane. I can't believe I've never heard of it before.
Yeah.
And there's so little source material on the topic. It's
So
insane.
nuts.
But back to the mosquitoes. The human response to what would have been unrelenting malaria in Africa, the sickle cell natural selection, the hereditary gene, is unbelievable. It's a testament to the sheer power malaria had on early populations in Africa that humans developed sickle cell through natural selection so quickly. And the way that people who have sickle cell, It protects them against malaria because the sickle cells have membranes that are stretched by their unusual shape and they become porous. They leak nutrients that the parasites need to survive, and the faulty cells eventually get eliminated by our own immune system, I'm guessing, quite quickly, which also destroys the parasite along the way, according to Mia Rosenbaum on understandinganimalresearch.org.
Okay.
And I wanted to know, have other animals adapted genetically to mosquitoes? Researchers think that great apes have adapted to malaria where they can carry the parasite but don't have any symptoms, which is obviously huge. We have pretty much eradicated malaria for humans. It's not super common today, but it was a huge issue up until like 100 years ago.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
like
even now
you can pretty much just treat malaria and it goes away. But what happens to you if you don't treat it?
You die.
You die. Like, don't you have like diarrhea and like get really dehydrated?
Let's see,
I
malaria.
think you get intense fever, right?
Oh, okay.
But it's still the number one killer of all humanity, right?
No, there's no
I
way.
think so. Symptoms of malaria include fever and flu-like illness, including shaking, chills, headache, muscle aches, and tiredness.
Okay.
Nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may also occur. Malaria may cause anemia and jaundice because of the loss of red blood cells. So it's just a shit fuck, really.
Yeah.
And we have yet another fuck you to give to Christopher Columbus, because mosquitoes were literally not a thing in the Americas before he came over here.
Can you imagine being able to just go like sit by a lake and not get eaten alive?
No, I can't.
Be so nice.
I can't at all. And it's kind of crazy because they were such a thing in Africa and the Middle East and Europe. For them to not have even come over here, I mean, I don't know how the evolution of insects spreading across the globe works, but I was kind of surprised by that.
I mean, something would have to take them over here.
Yeah.
And it sounds like nothing did.
It just seems like, in my Jurassic Park point of view, it seems like if the dinosaurs were here, mosquitoes would have been here too. But
yeah. Are they that old?
that's a great question that I don't have the answer to.
Okay.
Let's Google it.
So just for perspective, in the year 2020, 672,000 people died of malaria.
That is a lot.
Jeez.
Can't you just take like a quinine pill and be okay?
Yeah, I think it's really easily treatable, which is why it's
Yeah.
such a shame.
That's so sad. You would think that that would just be available
Okay.
everywhere.
Mosquitoes were here in the Jurassic period.
Okay, and then they went away during the Ice Age.
I don't know. Gosh, you're asking so many great questions.
They did not go away during the ice age.
I
Well,
would
Hayley
doubt
just said
it.
they weren't in North America until Christopher Columbus.
What, mosquitoes?
Yeah.
That's true.
Hold on. I didn't know we were talking about North America. I thought you
That's
meant
what she
worldwide.
said. No.
Oh, yeah. Mosquitoes lived through the Ice Age.
Okay, so then how were they not in North America?
I don't know. They just didn't fly.
Are
They
you
didn't fly
aware
over
there's
here.
other countries?
No, I know, but she said they were here. I don't know. I'm very confused.
They were not here. The mosquitoes were not here in the North Americas until Christopher Columbus and colonization came over.
but they
and
were
started.
around when like the dinosaurs were here and like fucking Pangea.
Yes.
So they should have been everywhere, right?
They should have been everywhere, but they weren't.
Okay.
I think presumably North America got way too cold for them, so they were in places like Africa, and then Columbus brought them back over.
Yeah, but the Ice Age was everywhere, and if they lived through the Ice Age,
It wasn't as intense everywhere.
okay.
And they hibernated. So maybe
Okay.
they had just been underground. But at least I'm sure maybe they did exist here in the Americas. But there was a huge boom when Christopher Columbus came over. And when he pulled up, almost no animals here were domesticated except for the turkey, which kind of just domesticated itself. It wanted to get scraps from indigenous people.
Oh, they're like dogs.
Yeah, they really are. It's the OG dog. But back in the Middle East and Europe, they had been domesticating animals for a long time, which is what led to what is called spillover zoonotic transfer. Sounds scary as hell to me. but it accounts for 75% of diseases. There are animal sicknesses that the animals give us, such as smallpox, measles, and mumps. So anyway, since agriculture in Europe and Africa was based on having as much as possible, as many animals as you could have, there were a lot of animals, and this allowed disease to spread very quickly. So when they came over on the Mayflower, they brought all their little nasties as well. So fuck you, Christopher Columbus.
Christopher Columbus was not on the Mayflower.
Right, but he did lead the way to the
Yeah.
Americas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I say Mayflower?
Yeah, you said Mayflower, but you were talking about like the animals that like colonists brought over.
Right. So
Yeah.
all the animals they brought over, they brought their mosquitoes and their diseases as well. Mosquitoes have also been a huge factor in the outcomes from many points in history. There's more to talk about than just manpower in the military. For example, the Nazis intentionally released malaria-carrying mosquitoes in Italy during World War II, and this is believed to be the only biological warfare attack carried out in Europe. And it just makes so much sense to me, mosquitoes and Nazis being like on the same side.
Yeah, 100%.
That checks out.
Just had an army of mosquitoes.
And until the late 19th century, we did not know what caused mosquito-borne diseases. They speculated that it was the miasma theory, which stated the cause of these diseases was, quote, noxious and toxic mist and odors emanating from standing water and swamp. So they were close.
Yeah, it was a swamp.
Yeah, they come from the water, but it wasn't just the odor that made you sick.
But you would think, I mean, it seems like it took them way too long to make the connection that like you get bit by a mosquito and then you get sick. But I guess they're getting bit all the time and only some people get sick.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what took them so freaking long, but they finally figured it out. The role of mosquitoes in human history obviously goes way back. There's probably even more undocumented bits of history that we have to thank for mosquitoes than there are, period. But I want to talk a little bit about the role of mosquitoes in the African slave trade because, quote, because mosquito-borne disease is ancestral to Africa, more Africans developed genetic resistance to malaria. And then at the same time, they had acquired immunity to yellow fever. So when colonizers enslaved indigenous people in America and they were perishing to the point that like 95% of them were dying due to malaria and yellow fever, they also noticed how European servants were dying at the same rates, but more Africans were surviving. So they're like, okay, we'll just enslave you all now.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty shitty. Fast forwarding to the American Civil War, as Union soldiers headed down south, they were entering both Confederate territory and mosquito territory. And again, it makes sense. The mosquitoes and the racists are on the same side. We have a theme going here. Union soldiers are dying at a higher rate than the Confederates are due to the mosquito-borne diseases. The Confederate soldiers had kind of built up almost an immunity. That's probably not exactly what happened, but they were more used to it.
Yeah, I mean, they probably did have like some more
type,
immunity being
Just a
in the
little
South.
sprinkling.
Yeah.
So eventually the Union blockade of the Confederacy takes hold, and the Union had a large stock of quinine, thank you, which, of course, if you don't know, was the anti-malarial treatment of the time. And the Confederacy is riding the super struggle bus and runs out of quinine.
Yeah.
Okay. And the mosquito flip sides, starts killing the Confederates, and that actually helps the Union win the war.
Oh, so they didn't have resistance. They just had access to quinine pills.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, I mistake that. I got ahead of myself.
Gotcha.
Also, fun fact, especially for you, gin and tonic also has something to do with mosquitoes. I'm
Yeah.
sure you already know
We've
this.
already talked
I didn't
about
know
this.
that. You talked about
On my
it
gin
in India?
episode. Yeah.
Oh, I completely have
I
forgotten
told you how
about
the
that.
gin and tonic was invented.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
But
that
I
makes
also
sense.
was surprised when she told me about it later. So I think she assumed we knew a certain word.
I think I assumed that everyone knew that quinine was the main ingredient in tonic water, so I didn't explain that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think that's what made it not register.
Okay, that's definitely it because
Okay.
I did not know that.
Okay.
I was there with you.
For those of you who don't know, and for those of you who do know, I'm sorry.
And for those of you who
repeating this.
didn't listen when I told you,
I should have asked more questions. I didn't know what quinine was. I was just nodding my head and smiling.
smile and wave, boys.
Smile and wave. Gin and tonic was introduced by the British Army in India in the mid 18th century. Kat is like, oh my God, I already said
Yeah,
all this.
literally, you're reading my notes from that episode.
I'm reading a post from Gin and Tonic on the VL92 Gin blog.
Probably where I got my
Probably your
information.
exact notes. Gin was added to help the soldiers wash down the bitter tonic water, which at the same time contained large amounts of quinine to repel mosquitoes and prevent malaria.
Weird.
So-
And then they added lime to it to help prevent scurvy.
When this shows up on trivia, we better get this question right, because if not, I don't know how else to help me. Let's also talk about the British surrender at Yorktown. This is a quote from J.R. McNeill in the Seattle Times. Once committed to Yorktown, Cornwallis faced a biological warfare campaign he could not counter. Mosquitoes helped the Americans snatch victory from the jaws of stalemate and win the Revolutionary War, which without there would be no United States of America. So mosquitoes have been a player in the game for a long fucking time. And they're the worst.
Is that why we don't kill them? Because we're like, maybe they'll help us in a war.
I think we've tried to kill them, but they're just so quick to adapt. And
What we need to do is drain every lake, every puddle, every body of water besides the ocean, and
Yeah.
just like wait,
I
and then
mean,
refill it.
we're pretty much doing that. Climate
That's
change
true.
might take care of.
No, climate change
Everyone.
is good for the mosquitoes.
Yeah, I guess
They
so.
like it
Rising
hot.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
We'll get to how we could possibly exterminate
Okay.
the mosquitoes.
Can I give a quick update on the ice age?
Please
So
do.
apparently an ice age just means when the polar ice caps are expanding. And so they expand and they eat up so much water, freezing themselves, that it changes the tidal currents, which causes the weather to change. But the last ice age lowered the temperature by 4 degrees Celsius, which is around 8 or 9 degrees Fahrenheit.
Why did I think the entire world got covered in ice?
Yeah, so it said basically the equator during the ice age was about the same as it is today.
Oh my god.
How did we not know this?
I think the Ice Age movies
they had a large part
really
to do with it.
influenced the way
Yeah.
I understood the actual Ice Age.
I need to go through
It's
all
like,
of my.
everything was covered in snow. Got it.
I need to go through all of the facts I think I know and then just double check.
So embarrassing.
I'm glad that we're not alone in this. We at least have each
least,
other.
Yeah, at least there's one other person as stupid as I am.
All right, listeners, we're asking you, please write in. If you have grapefruited your man, send us that emoji.
Oh my
if
God.
you
If you
also
pomeloed your man,
send us a video. And if
Send
you
it to
also
Hayley, not me.
if you also thought the ice age was just everything was ice, send us a freezing emoji.
And
The
if
one where
you
it's like, burn.
already knew that that was not the case, please don't say anything.
Shut up and sit down.
Yeah. We don't care that you're smarter.
Okay, let's do a deep dive onto mosquitoes and who they are, where they came from. I have lots of pictures here. There were way more species on mosquitoes than I ever thought or wanted to know.
Yeah, I thought there was one.
But some of them are pretty cool, actually. Okay. So pictured here, this is on the surface of the water. It essentially looks like a net almost. There's a bunch of little holes. And this is like a little pod where the mosquitoes pop out of. Baby mosquitoes pop out of those holes and they look like little worms initially. They're just worming around underground. This next picture will show you a picture. Wow. But they essentially breathe out of their butts at the surface of the water. Do you want to describe or do you want me to just go for it?
Yeah, they're like little hairy worms
Yeah.
with like a little straw coming out of their butt to the surface of the water.
That's exactly what it is.
It's like a fly fishing lure.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. While they're underwater, their siphons have a little flap that closes, but when it opens or when it is exposed to air, it opens. So that's how they breathe. It's right above their asshole. And other species of mosquitoes have the siphon on their side of their body, so they have to lay parallel to the water surface, but it's definitely advantageous to be able to breathe out of your butt so your head can be on the swivel as a little baby mosquito.
Okay.
So eventually the larvae start eating to become big and strong. Most species are filter feeders and just eat crap in the water using their little feeder things on their heads. But there's one species that specifically eats other baby mosquitoes. I have a picture here. It is much larger, much scarier. You can see he's in the middle, looks like a big ass like caterpillar.
Yeah.
And then you can see the little baby mosquito down there.
And it's going to go eat them.
Yeah, it eats them up. So we like that one. That's the elephant mosquito.
Does it bite people when it grows up?
I'm sure it does. Most mosquitoes actually do not prefer human blood.
Okay.
But some of them do. There's so many different species. Some of them bite at night. Some of them bite during the day. Some of them prefer like lower extremities. Some of them prefer like up closer to your heart. It's insane.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes are just wilding out. And then there's also this next picture. This is the larvae of a fly chair boris. What are you seeing?
It looks like it has like a little snail inside of it, like a little snail,
a little
swirly
coil.
shell. And it's like a clear worm with a giant hook on its face.
Yeah, super scary. Mosquitoes are just my worst nemesis.
Yeah, they're disgusting.
After this stage, mosquitoes start shedding their skin and they turn into a pupa. Is it pupa or pupae?
Pupa.
Pupa. And on the fourth cycle, it pops out these little like ear type things. And it's the cutest a mosquito will ever be in this stage. It's peak cuteness.
It is kind of cute. It looks like a seahorse.
It looks like a seahorse. I think it looks like a ghost almost. It has a really dark, like black spots around its eyes, and it's all white almost at this point, or almost like an albino piece of shrimp is what
Albino
it makes me think of. So it gets really cute, but the adult body starts to form and the mosquitoes can wiggle around to escape danger, unlike butterflies in their cocoons, for example. And then after a few days, they start to open up above the water's surface. Some species exit their exoskeleton very slow and like dramatic, like I've arrived. But others like just pop out and they're like, "What's up, bitches? I'm here now. I'm ready to suck your blood." They dry out for a few minutes and then they're on their way to terrorize the world. They excel at terrorizing us humans for a few different reasons. First of all, they have something called the Johnston's organ, which is attached to their eye bits and their antenna, and it can sense the slightest movement of their antenna. Scientists think that this allows them to sense the airflow around their body so that they can essentially fly in the dark without any issues. Their wings also move in like a twisty infinity fashion almost, and it creates air pockets underneath them, which easily supports them. So they don't have to exert a lot of energy to keep themselves going.
Okay.
Mosquitoes eat sugar from nectar, mostly from flowers, but it's males only. Females have to eat blood to prepare for laying the eggs. So if you're going to hate on mosquitoes, I hate to do it, but women can't support all women. We hate the women mosquitoes.
Yes, all women.
Anti-feminist.
I'm anti-mosquito. If that means I have to be anti-feminist, it is what it is, baby. Some mosquitoes don't feed on blood at all. And mating for mosquitoes looks different depending on the species. This picture is a very extra mosquito.
That's like the peacock of mosquitoes. That's a showgirl right there.
Beautiful.
She has like a blues, purple. She looks like she's glowing. She's got some feathered legs.
Yeah, like leg warmers almost. She's got long, beautiful antenna. Like if I saw that, I would not even know it was a mosquito.
No.
This is almost peak cuteness for mosquitoes.
It's very pretty. I want one of those like in a piece of amber, and I'll wear it as a necklace.
Yes. I wonder how big it is, because in this picture it looks huge, but I'm not sure it's huge. It's probably very, very small.
Yeah, it's probably the size of a mosquito.
Shut up, Kat. But you're right. This is the Sabethis. They do a little dance to show off. They're very fancy. And I'm pretty sure that you covered this, Kat, in your lesson on bizarre mating, but here's a refresher on...
I don't think I did talk about mosquitoes.
Okay, it just sounded very, very familiar.
Okay.
So let me know if it rings any bells. But on the Dinosaurides mosquitoes, first of all, they live inside of crap holes, which I don't know if that means that they just like live in other animals' poop. I'm not sure what that means. But anyway.
Crap holes?
Yeah, crap holes.
I don't know what that is.
It's a scientific term.
Yeah. I should not have included it. If you've ever crap holed your man, send the crap emoji. Okay, but here's what the male mosquitoes do. They fight each other on the surface of the water while they're waiting for female pupa to emerge.
The babies?
The babies.
Not the babies.
The babies. Before she can even fly, whoever wins the fight of the males land on them, latch on, and force themselves on her.
On the baby?
On the baby. On the baby mosquito who hasn't even taken her first... So hasn't even spread her wings. Hasn't even had her slutty college days.
How do they know which babies are female?
I don't know. They sense it somehow.
Okay.
They like get up close to it, and if they realize it's a male, they're like, "Sorry, bro." But if it's a female, they trigger warning.
Okay.
They rape her.
And why are they fighting over them? There's probably so many.
Because they gotta get it on. They gotta procreate. I mean, you gotta be a mosquito one way or another. Either you're thriving or you're dying.
Yeah, but just like find another one. Like there's literally probably so many larvae.
I don't know how long mosquitoes live, but something tells me that they don't have much time to, update their population before they die.
I guess. I want to start a mosquito cockfighting ring.
Oh my God.
Just
me
like
too.
under a microscope.
Maybe that's the key to getting rid of mosquitoes.
We just make them all fight to the death.
Well, you could actually do that. This next species, the Aedes aegypti, there's no pictures for the rest of this segment, so I'm sorry. But the men get turned on by the whining sound of the females. Like
they
when
whine?
Their wings. Like, have you ever had a mosquito fly
like
past
the
your
buzz?
The buzz. In one study, they played the same tone through an earbud in a box that the male mosquito was in. And when they started playing that tone, he went directly to the earbud and started trying to hump it. They just love that sound. They're like, okay, it's game time.
We should play that sound over a bunch of speakers that are also mosquito traps.
Oh, God.
And then we trap all the males, and then they can no longer procreate.
Yeah,
And we've
that's
cured
what
our
we need to do.
issues.
That's what we need to do. Just get rid of all the males. But no, actually, we need to get rid of all the females.
Yeah,
They're
but if
ones
all
who
the
suck our
males
blood.
die, the females will die off eventually too.
That's true. That's true. This is a complex issue.
Yeah.
And everyone, I'm sure, would be glad to get rid of mosquitoes. They're just fucking menaces.
Yeah, it's across party lines.
It is. This is something
everyone
we can all agree
support.
on. The majority of mosquitoes do not like human blood the best, but I figure since there's trillions of them on Earth, we'll talk about the bloods that they do like. The ones who like our blood, they really like it. Like they like us. Okay. We created Let me sort out my notes here. I'm getting so excited talking about mosquitoes. I don't even know why. When we're just being ourselves, being humans, we create a small cloud of carbon dioxide when we breathe. And once that happens, it's fucking over for us. The mosquito becomes hypersensitive to all other stimuli and tracks the scent back to us. They can sense our body heat and they love the smell of our body odor. Like our sweat is gold to them. And specifically, the Anopheles gambi likes our feet.
Ew.
They have a little fetish.
Yeah,
for
I feel
feet.
like I usually get mosquito bites like on my ankles and feet.
Me too. So that's probably a really common species in our area. Now, how do they suck blood? Their face needle, how they suck our blood, is not just a hollow tube. It more closely resembles a rolled up piece of paper, and there's like a slit in the front of it. It also looks like it's one piece, almost like a needle, but it's made up of 6 different sections. There are 2 sensory probes, the labella, and that's just kind of like their little kissy lips, okay? There's a mini saw-like structure that they use to slit through our skin. Yeah. There are 2 others that physically hold our tissues apart.
Oh my God. They're like doing surgery.
Yeah, they really are. This is like the next time I go to the gynecologist, that's all I'm going to be thinking about when she puts what's the fucking thing called?
The little like clampy thing.
The little clampy
the speculum.
thing. The speculum. The mosquito has their own little speculum. And then the last 2 parts in their sucking device are the ones who are in charge. The first one pumps in saliva, which is kind of like their system being on the lookout. And the second one pierces the blood vessel and sucks the actual blood.
How is something so small sharp enough to cut through our skin? I need a knife made out of mosquito mouths.
Me too. Cutco, step up your game. And they're so quick about it too. Their saliva literally numbs our skin and the area around it so that we don't feel it until they've pieced out.
Yeah, couldn't they have just given us like a little like take-home bottle of whatever it is they have?
Yeah.
So we could numb it afterward.
At least if you're going to latch on, stay a while.
Yeah, I need a prescription.
I don't want to be itchy. Like, I'm fine with you sucking my blood. I love Twilight. You don't have to hide who you are. Also, I read the best thread about Twilight that I'll have to send you. I meant to send it to you last night, but I was incapacitated. So
okay, send it to me later. We'll talk.
I will. Anyway, there's a video that shows the mosquitoes like weird ass mouth searching around for something to pierce in our arm. Like it, I don't know what type of medical scan it is, but it shows the mosquito's mouth go into our skin and it wiggles around
to find a blood vessel. That is so fucked up.
It's disgusting.
Ugh.
It's awful. And the saliva not only numbs our nerves, it suppresses our immune response and it carries the mosquito-borne diseases. Also, the mosquito poops while it eats to make room for our blood.
Like on us?
On us.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
For
I'm
sure
fine
on
with
us.
that part.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty common thing that bugs do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just the gift that keeps on fucking giving. As far as the end of mosquitoes, excuse me, Timothy Weingart is his name, the guy who wrote the book on mosquitoes. He thinks we have 2 options. One, we use CRISPR technology.
We know about CRISPR.
Do we though?
We tried.
They use CRISPR technology to manipulate the male's genes, causing them to breed with females, but the way we manipulate their genes would lead to the offspring being stillborn or being infertile.
It's like
Number
the plot
2
of the newest Jurassic Park movie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow, spoiler alert. Or number 2, we genetically engineer mosquitoes to make it impossible for them to spread mosquito-borne diseases, but they'd still be able to bite us and leave us itching. So
Okay.
I choose number 1, just completely eradicate them.
Yeah. Why haven't we done that?
Fuck them mosquitoes. I don't know.
I'm fine
I really
with playing
don't know.
God and doing like weird environmental stuff. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, at this
It's all gonna
point,
end anyway.
It's all going to end anyway. I'm not
as
even
well-
sure we'll be here for grandkids. Like,
Yeah, we'll just like live through the destruction of humanity without mosquitoes.
it'll be better that way.
Yeah.
The chances of us, in case of like an apocalypse, having a bunch of mosquito spray or quinine.
Yeah.
Quinine. Thank you. I don't know why that word is so hard for me. But the chances are low. We don't want to have to fuck around with mosquitoes.
Yeah, it would make the apocalypse so much better.
Yeah, I want to have a nice, easy way out.
Too.
Well, that was my lesson. My sources are How Mosquitoes Help Shape the Course of Human History by Emily Toomey in Smithsonian Magazine, True Facts, The Mosquito by Z. Frank 1 on YouTube, Harrison G. Dyer's Junior's Tunnels by Oxford Academic, The Impossible Case of Harrison G. Dyer in the Smithsonian Institution Archives, Moths, Myths, and Mosquitoes by Smithsonian Associates, Inside the Tunnels of Washington's Mole Man, Harrison G. Dyer by John Kelly in The Washington Post, The History of Humanity's Blood War Against the Mosquito by David Ferry in Wired, and Gin and Tonic from VL92.com.
Thank you for
You're
that
welcome.
learning journey.
Can I add one fun fact that I
Please.
found when I was searching? So mosquitoes kill the most people out of any other animal every year at 1 million. Can you guess what the next one is?
I already saw your paper. so
Okay,
I can't
Haley?
guess.
What the next what is?
The next one
killer?
down. Yeah. So mosquitoes kill 1 million people every year. The next one down is 475,000 per year.
Smoking.
It's other humans. So it's only animals.
Oh.
Okay, do you know?
The endangered cigarette.
The ADHD is strong in me today.
Yeah, so mosquitoes and then humans. Do you want to guess the next two?
Whales.
Dogs. Hippos.
Whales. You said dogs?
I said hippos.
You said
Dogs.
dogs? Okay, it's
Ticks.
snakes.
Oh.
At 50,000.
Not
And
the
then
snakes.
dogs at 25,000.
Wow. Dang.
And then coming in at number 5 is either tsetse flies or freshwater snails at 10,000.
Really?
Freshwater snails?
Yeah, who knew?
How
How,
do they kill
though?
you?
I don't know. Eating them?
Eating them. Are
I
they
don't know.
poison?
I don't know.
Who pulls a snail out of a lake and eats it?
Night classy topic.
Sorry to
Freshwater
interrupt.
snail.
Just had to share.
Thank you for that. Well,
Yeah.
let's hear a quick word from our sponsor. We'll be right back.
Bye-bye.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace is hard. The good news is therapy works. But what is therapy exactly? Well, it's whatever you want it to be. Maybe you're not feeling motivated right now and would like some tools to help. Or maybe you're feeling insecure in a relationship or even at work. Maybe you're not dealing well with stress. Whatever you need, it's time to stop being ashamed of normal human struggles and start feeling better because you deserve to be happy. And now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. And it's much more affordable than in-person therapy. And you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Join the millions of people who are seeing what online therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. And special offer to Night Classy listeners, you can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/classy. That's better, HELP.com/classy. Thank you again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast. And thank you, listeners, for supporting Night Classy by supporting the brands that support us. Back to the show. Hi, why are we whispering? Are we in trouble?
Do you like when I talk to you like this?
No.
Are you sure?
It reminds me of ASMR and it makes my skin crawl.
So you don't like this either?
No, what is happening?
Today we are talking about autonomous sensory meridian response.
Ew.
ASMR. You don't like it?
I hate ASMR. Like
Really?
it drives my sensory input crazy.
Interesting. I'm not like, it doesn't happen to me like the way it happens to some people, but the videos do make me really uncomfortable. I watched a lot of them today.
Yeah, I do not like it. It makes my skin crawl. Like nails on a chalkboard doesn't bother me, but ASMR is what nails on a chalkboard is to me.
Like
I
which ones
hate
do you
it.
not like? The whispering or
I
like
hate
any
the
of-
whispering. I hate the squishy. I'm the type
Yeah.
of person who if you're chewing with your mouth open, I have to leave the room.
Well,
like I can't.
Actually, people who experience ASMR also have that. What's it called when you don't like
Like people
like
chewing.
people chewing? Misophobia. phobia or something.
I don't know what the name of it is. But
Yeah. So like actually that's a thing where people who experience ASMR like hate it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's me. I am that person.
But you don't like the sound of like ASMR stuff.
Misophonia.
Misophonia. What about like nails tapping?
I don't know. It doesn't really bother me.
Okay. Interesting.
Diagnose me.
So ASMR, or autonomous sensory meridian response, is a non-clinical term coined in 2010 by Jennifer Allen. She wanted to give this phenomenon that people were experiencing a name so that people could talk about it easier. She chose an official sounding name to give it legitimacy and make people less embarrassed to share their experiences. Because
She nailed it.
yeah, she did a really good job. It's like, it's kind of catchy. It's really easy to talk about. She chose the word meridian, she says, to allude to orgasm without explicitly saying it. And I was trying to figure out like how meridian has anything to do with the word orgasm.
Yeah, to me, meridian just makes me think of the dictionary. I don't know why.
The dictionary.
Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like there's a dictionary that has meridian in the title, but I don't know.
Oh, I don't know about that, but like it usually refers to like the middle. Like it's kind of like the word median, but I think it's more like in the like geographical, like in the poles. I don't know exactly, but I couldn't find any definition that had anything to do with orgasm. So that part kind of confused me, but she wanted to allude to orgasm because orgasmic is how a lot of people describe the experience of ASMR.
Maybe she also just doesn't know what meridian means.
That sounds the most likely. Yeah. This term came years after people started talking about their experiences with this. And this happened in 2007. It all started when a user wrote, "Weird sensation feels good," and then described ASMR in an online health forum, and other people could relate.
Ooh, God, I cannot. I hate it. I just hate it so much.
I feel like you must be someone who experiences it then. Because if it like gives you like a physical reaction, you probably are experiencing it. You just like don't like the sensation.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So ASMR sensations are a physical or psychological response to a calming or pleasant or unpleasant, I guess, stimuli. The stimuli can be physical, verbal, or visual. A physical stimuli might be someone playing with your hair or running the spines of a hairbrush over your arm. A verbal stimuli is most often someone whispering to you with a pleasant sounding voice. Some of the videos online, they like role play. So one that I watched, she was like pretending to be your hairstylist and she had like a wig on the camera. And then she was facing you and it looked like she was like playing with your hair and like talking to you about like how she was going to style it, but in a whisper. It can also be a material sound. So some common ones are foil crinkling, turning magazine pages, typing or tapping nails on a table. The squishy stuff I think has gotten popular recently with the slime. People would like slap the microphone with slime or like squeeze it.
Weird. This is like sensory porn.
Yeah.
It seems like.
It totally is. Visual ASMR can be watching someone draw, decorate a cake, fold towels, maintain warm eye contact. And I really like the visual ASMRs. I don't get the ASMR feeling like some people do, but have you seen the TikToks of that woman who packs her purse?
No.
She has like this room full of like beautiful little like drawers and trinkets and things, and she just takes stuff out like little tiny mini flosses and like little tiny packs of gum, and she just puts things in her purse, and she has like pretty nails, and
okay,
it's just
I need
so
to see
soothing.
that. Yeah, I'm into the visual, especially decorating cakes.
Yes,
love that.
And like the calligraphy.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
so smooth, soft, buttery. I like that. Imagine
Me too.
explaining to your like accountant when you're doing your taxes. You're like, and what is your official job title?
I pack my
ASMR
purse.
artist.
Yeah. The sensation of ASMR varies person by person, and it can be physical or psychological. A physical sensation is usually described as a light, pleasurable tingles, kind of like goosebumps, but they feel better than goosebumps. Some people describe it as the feeling of like little shocks all over your body. It can also be waves of relaxation through the head, neck, spine, and just the rest of your body. And I read in one of the articles, it's like people who don't experience this have a hard time believing it exists. And that's me. Like I don't have any kind of like physical reaction to sound. So the fact that like people are like feeling tingles down their spine by a sound, I'm like, whoa.
My mind is blown. I didn't know that you don't get that reaction like to the sound ones. It does feel like little shocks like around my shoulders and like my chin and jaw.
Oh, interesting. So you are an ASMR experiencer. That's interesting.
Unfortunately.
Kat, do you ever get chills listening to music?
No.
What?
I tear up listening to music a lot. Like
But you've
music
never
makes
once
me
gotten
cry.
chills?
No, it doesn't give me chills.
Wow.
But that's actually something that ASMR is a lot of times compared to, but it's a very different thing. So like a lot of people experience chills from music, but that doesn't mean they have an ASMR response.
Is ASMR now an official, like, have they studied it?
They have studied it, but not a lot. And we'll talk a lot about the studies. So it can also be a psychological sensation. According to ASMRuniversity.com, it might be, quote, deep soothing feelings of relaxation, calmness, comfort, peacefulness, restfulness, or sleepiness. ASMR has blossomed into a major category on YouTube with creators called ASM artists doing things to evoke ASMR sensations in their viewers, who they call tingle heads.
Tingle heads, yeah.
That's
accurate.
Yeah. One of the most prominent ASM artists is Maria of Gentle Whispering ASMR. She currently has 2.18 million subscribers on her YouTube channel, and years ago she was able to make it her full-time job. And she, I think, mainly like whispers.
That is one that I just cannot stand.
Yeah, I really don't like the whispering.
It makes me want to jump out. I don't even like when people like whisper in my ear.
I hate when people
That
whisper in my ear. I don't want to feel your breath on my ear.
Yes.
Ugh.
To my core, it makes me want to like jump out of a window or throw up.
Or both. I can understand that reaction. ASMR has become an industry and has had a major place in pop culture for over a decade now, but only in the last few years have neuroscientists begun decoding the phenomenon. Not everyone experiences ASMR, and since we don't have a ton of research yet, we don't know exactly how much of the population experiences it. Estimates range from 20 to 70%. So we really have no idea.
I feel like there's so much that we don't know as it is about our senses.
Yeah.
Just knowing that there's more than just the 5 basic senses we're taught in school.
Yeah.
And
the brain. Like, the brain is still such a mystery exactly how it works and like what parts do what.
Truly.
So scientists are interested in finding out if there are differences in the brain that are responsible. So differences of ASMR experiencers versus not. Studying the mechanism of ASMR in the brain could also better help us understand how our senses manifest in the brain, because it's kind of like a crisscross of senses, right? You're hearing a sound and getting like a physical response. In 2015, psychology researchers at Swansea University in Wales published the first ever peer-reviewed research study on ASMR. They focused on describing and classifying the experience. They surveyed 475 people who report having the tingles. They found that a vast majority of these people seek out ASMR videos on YouTube to help them sleep, relax, or cope with stress. Most viewers report feeling better after watching the videos and for some time after, even the ones who scored high on a survey for depression. And some of the subjects who have chronic pain reported that the videos help decrease their symptoms.
I wonder why it calms people.
Yeah, because it does the opposite for you.
Yeah.
We'll get into it a little bit. There are theories, and some of these theories I think I'm on board with after watching some of these videos today. Before doing this research, I had never gone onto ASMR YouTube and watched any of the videos.
Yeah.
There's some strange stuff out there. There's a perception that there's a sexual component to ASMR. And I feel like that perception's pretty understandable given a lot of the ASMR content on YouTube. Like when I was watching, a lot of it felt like the beginning of a porn. Like
it's very sensual.
Yeah.
I feel like the way a lot of them, I see them like move their hands.
Because they like pretend like they're stroking something, like they move their fingers a lot. A lot of the successful ASM artists are attractive young women. They make a lot of eye contact with the camera. A lot of them like expose their cleavage. They'll like touch things to their face. Like a lot of it looks very sexual. And the comments on the videos tend to comment on the host's attractiveness. They also use phrases like braingasms and whisper porn. However,
I'm sorry.
You okay?
I'm getting a physical reaction.
And
My throat.
I think what like the sexy like clickbaity stuff does is bring in more viewers, but most people, according to research, don't watch ASMR for sexual gratification. The Swansea study found that only 5% of participants reported using ASMR for sexual stimulation, and 84% report that there's no sexual component to ASMR.
Yeah, I feel like it's with almost anything. I don't know what the percentage rates are for other experiences, but you know, everyone has their thing.
Yeah. And
But maybe that is high, 5% of all people.
But I feel like 5% of people use anything for sexual gratification. Like if we asked everyone on earth, like, oh, do you use your water bottle for sexual gratification? Some people would say yes.
I don't think so. I think 5% is higher than the average across just typical experiences for people to experience sexual gratification.
Probably. But if we're talking about videos on YouTube, like people will jerk off to anything.
That's true.
Like people jerk off to podcasts. People like literally like the most non-sexual stuff.
Yeah.
Like a nature documentary. There's people jerking off to it. Like I think like you could say like 5% of viewers on any given video use it for sexual gratification.
We need the data. Somebody get this research funded so we can find out.
Yeah, I would like to know. And it probably is like slightly higher than normal, especially given like the way that some of the content is marketed.
It's set up, yeah.
But I think that what this is saying is inherently like it's not sexual, you know?
Yeah.
A second study was conducted by the University of Winnipeg professor Stephen Smith. This study put 22 participants under fMRI scanners, so they were scanning their brains. Half of the participants report experiencing ASMR and the other half were controls. Unfortunately, we have not been able to get brain scans of people actively experiencing ASMR because that's obviously the goal, right? We want to see what parts of the brain are lighting up.
Yeah.
But fMRI machines are really noisy. So we can't really do that. And I'm a little confused because can't you put like headphones on?
Yeah, you would think
people?
you could do that unless
Yeah.
it messes with the scan.
Yeah, maybe. But apparently we haven't been able to do that. So what this study did was it just scanned their brains and just wanted to look for differences between the ASMR people's brains and the control group brains. The results drew researchers' attention to the parts of the brain called the default mode network. And what this is a number of structures mostly along the midline of the brain and then parts of your parietal lobe above the backs of your ears. Brain activity in these places tend to fluctuate together. So these parts of the brain will light up all at once, which is why scientists assume that they work together as a network. And the connections between the default mode network is most obvious when the patient is awake and at rest, which is how they were when they were scanning their brains, right? It's associated with internal thoughts and mind wandering. So when people are just laying there thinking, these parts of the brain light up together. However, the brains of the subjects who experience ASMR were different. Areas that typically work together didn't fire together as much. And unexpected parts of the brain were more active than normal, especially areas related to the visual network.
Weird.
Isn't that strange? So researchers think that this could mean that instead of having distinct brain networks like most people have, people who experience ASMR could have a blending of networks. And Professor Stephen Smith says, quote, "It does make intuitive sense that a condition associated with atypical sensory association and atypical emotional association would have different wiring in the brain." So basically your senses are getting crisscrossed and working together in tandem when they wouldn't normally.
We're built different.
That's right. You're special.
We're Ford strong.
This is like a very... this will probably be a satisfying lesson for you because I get to like describe things and you get to see if you relate to them.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, it's like a BuzzFeed quiz.
Yes.
My favorite thing ever.
He also thinks that ASMR might be similar to, and this is going to be really embarrassing because I'm about to say this word a lot. And I read these notes to Alec earlier and I could not get this word any single time. Synesthesia. Synesthesia. Okay. He thinks it might be similar to synesthesia, which is a type of... I wrote... He thinks ASMR might be similar to synesthesia. Oh, or a type of synesthesia. So maybe similar to this thing or maybe just like an offshoot of this thing. And synesthesia is a neurological condition where the activation of one neural pathway involuntarily triggers another. So, in other words, when one sense is activated, it can cause you to experience another unrelated sense. For example, some people will hear music and see swirls of color going with the music.
So crazy.
And there's a lot of different types of synesthesia, and they're really cool, so I thought I'd just like go through them.
Yeah, please.
We don't have to go through all of them. If they're boring, tell me, and then we won't. But I thought they were cool. So chromesthesia is like the example I just gave, where certain sounds trigger someone to see certain colors. So for you, it might be you hear a car honk and you see the color orange. Like it's just related.
Yeah.
Grapheme color synesthesia is when letters and numbers are associated with specific colors. So you might always like the letter K is pink, like just in your brain is just like they're intrinsically tied.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more.
Lexical goosery is when hearing certain words.
Lexical goosery?
Yeah,
I like
lexical
that. Whatever it is,
goosery
I like it.
is when hearing certain words triggers certain tastes.
Oh, okay.
Mirror touch is a sort of intense empathy. So seeing someone being touched makes you feel like you're being touched. And the example they gave was if you're watching someone get CPR, you feel intense pressure in your chest.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Number form is where a mental map of numbers appears whenever you think of numbers, which that one was weird to me because like I feel like that's like just visualizing numbers, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, it kind of reminds me of something that happens in my mind. If I see like 4, 3, 2, my mind starts thinking of like, okay, 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. And like I start
Like you just
thinking
start
of all the
connecting
different
the dots.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I see visuals in my mind, and I know some people don't. So when I think of a number, I see it in my mind, but I don't know what this is saying. Like you think of a mental map of numbers.
I thought you said mental math.
No.
Mental map of numbers.
I don't really get that one.
Is that like people who can see the number pi
Oh, maybe.
and they can list it because they can just see
They
it?
can like read it.
Yeah.
That I think is something else, but maybe not. There's ordinal linguistic personification, which is where ordered sequences like days of the week are associated with personalities or genders. I thought that one was fun.
Yeah, I could see that.
And my mind associates days of the week with certain colors, but I think that's because I had a calendar when I was like learning the days of the week, and they were like Monday was red, Tuesday orange, Wednesday yellow, and like that. But I think this is just like inherently you're like Tuesday is a girl.
It's different. Friday's definitely a girl for me.
Yeah, she's a party girl.
I think they're all girls, actually.
No boys.
No boys allowed.
Spatial sequence synesthesia involves seeing numbers or numerical sequences as points in space. And
wow, that's trippy.
yeah, I don't really understand that one either. And auditory tactile synesthesia occurs when a sound prompts a specific bodily reaction, like tingling on the neck. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. So auditory tactile synesthesia sounds a whole lot like what people experiencing ASMR are going through. Smith notes that there have been studies on synesthesia that show a slightly atypical wiring in the brain that leads to different sensory associations, and thinks that that might be what's happening with ASMR. In another study, Smith and his colleagues tested 290 people who report having ASMR for the big 5 personality traits. And these traits are extroversion, agreeableness, openness, conscientiousness, and neuroticism. Then they compared the results to an equal number of people in the control group. What they found was the ASMR group scored higher on openness to experience and neuroticism, and scored lower for conscientiousness, extroversion, and agreeableness. Sorry, Hayley.
That all checks out. No, I mean, you're the one who chose to date and to be friends with 2 people who experience ASMR.
Alex doesn't experience ASMR.
Oh, I thought he did. Never mind.
No, not really.
You're my friend.
Says he doesn't. Yeah.
I was going to say,
okay.
I feel like my conditions are pee empathy. If someone says, I got to pee really bad, I'm like, we got to pee really bad. We got to find a bathroom.
You just have a lot of empathy.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Your
And my
empathy's
other
strong.
one, which I found a definition for recently, is called haptodysphoria, which is the touching velvet is unbearable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is a thing.
I'm glad I have a name
Phobia.
for it. There
Yeah.
are 35 people in the subreddit.
I bought a velvet pillow forgetting about Alex's condition, and he can't even have it on the couch because thinking about it touching the couch makes
wow,
him uncomfortable.
that's intense.
Yeah.
Are either of you like people who don't like to have your food touch?
I don't really care too much about that. I do not like eating off the same fork or drinking out of the same straw as people. But I think that's
Yes.
pretty normal.
She
think
doesn't
so, too.
like me to like toss a salad
Because
with my
Alec
hands.
will mix a salad with dressing on it with his hands.
Because that's how they do it on the Food
That's
Network.
fucking weird. Look how
Yeah,
Hayley's looking at you.
that's-
Every time you tell people this and try to make me out to be the weird one, they
You
look
look-
at you like you're
You look
crazy.
even crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit far.
Yeah.
All right, I'm outvoted, but
It's
listeners,
2022.
listeners who watch Food Network, they'll
If
always be
you've
like,
tossed-
It's
a salad.
called tongs.
if you've tossed a salad involving your hands too.
Like, why would you put your hands in salad dressing?
Yeah, then you have to
No.
go wash your hands. Just use the tongs. Get
Yeah.
2 forks. I don't care what you do. Put a lid on it and shake it up.
Yeah.
Like literally anything but using your hands.
Literally every time he tells the story trying to make me sound weird, and this happens.
Well,
All
no,
those
because
people-
she said, "Are you weird about touching food?" And you're like, "No, not at all." I'm like, "Yeah, she is."
No,
No,
I was
I'm not
talking-
weird, like grabbing your own burger and eating it.
I was
Like, that's
talking about
fine.
having all your food on a plate and having like your corn touch your fries.
I thought you meant a human touching her food.
No, I'm not weird about food touching. I like to mix things up and eat bites
Me
together.
too. Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to eat a casserole, but I want to make each bite like a casserole.
Yeah, it's you gotta like make your own flavors.
Yeah.
Do you ever eat like one of my favorite things to do is eat a hard candy and a chewy candy at the same time, and then you get like a little like combo of chewy and crunchy.
Yeah, one thing I like to do, it's I think similar, is I'll hold M&Ms in my mouth until they get like partially all like
Yeah.
melty, but then they still have the outer
crunch.
core. Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
it is good.
I like to I like to eat Mike and Ike's and Sweet Tarts at the same time and crunch on them at the same time, and then it's like chewy and
yes.
crunchy. That's I'm gonna put out a cookbook, and that'll be the first recipe.
Yeah, you don't need a, what is it called, a mortar and pestle when you
Yeah.
have your mouth.
Just mix it in your mouth and then spit it out on a plate, and let Alec mix it with his hands, and then you eat it.
Yeah, you
All
baby
right.
bird it. Oh, that's where you draw the line, Alec.
So these results on the big 5 personality traits, they're interesting, and actually all of these studies need to be taken with a grain of salt because they have not been replicated. It's a small sample size. More study is definitely needed. Craig Richard, a professor of pharmaceutical sciences and an ASMR experiencer himself, wants to do exactly that. And he's actually like the leading expert is the word I'm trying to find. Yes. He's the leading ASMRologist at the moment. And I believe he's the one who has the book. Yes. He has a website called ASMR University that he's using to gather data. If you experience ASMR, you should go to their website. It's asmruniversity.com and take the online survey.
Ooh,
Yes.
I want to take it.
Do it. And this data is intended to help researchers learn more about what ASMR is and why it exists. Richard has his own theory. He notes that something in almost all ASMR videos share is a, quote, tranquil womb-like intimacy. A lot of the videos feature someone whispering to you gentle words, holding warm eye contact, simulating stroking. And Richard thinks that this simulated intimacy triggers the experience of being loved. And
why do I hate it? If that's true.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It makes me uncomfortable to watch because it is so intimate.
Yeah. Same here.
And do you remember, Alec actually brought this up. Do you remember the experience of sitting on the carpet in a library and your librarian is reading to you a book in a soft voice and someone's like sitting next to you playing with your hair?
Yeah.
And that felt so soothing. Like you just felt so like calm and loved and warm. And I think that seems like that's what a lot of these ASMR videos is trying to replicate. Like people are like stroking their hands around the camera, making you feel like you're being touched, talking to you softly.
You can just fall asleep.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think once you get over the this is weird factor, it could actually be really soothing because it brings you back to like this tranquil, childlike place.
Yeah. In the womb.
In the womb. No. So let's see. Richard and his team asked participants to rank how they would prefer to experience.
I'm sorry. I just Googled how do you mix what's the best way to mix a salad? And it says why you should mix salads with your hands. Bye tongs. When you ask a cook to list the most useful tools in the kitchen, especially clean, hands are at the top of the list.
No. Go to the
You're
comments.
not a chef.
Look at this.
No.
You're not a chef.
I refuse.
You're not on TV.
Next time you're making a salad, lose the utensils, wash your hands, add the dressing, eyeball the ingredients, let's be honest, blah, 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 blah.
No.
Mix the whole thing with your hands.
No.
Read it and weep.
Because then I just imagine I just imagine the salad dressing getting like stuck under your fingernails and
Yeah, I hate it.
This is a funny line. This winter I'll be tossing robust kale salads with punchy lemon vinaigrette.
Nice.
Okay. That's
with
enough.
my hands. A messy job, yes. I'm sorry.
And then when you have the dressing on your hands, you have to go turn on the sink.
Yeah.
And then the dressing gets on the sink. And then you go to use the sink later and there's dressing on your hands. It's just a never ending shit show.
Doesn't make sense. We have several tongs.
Top comment. Yes, tossing salad with your hands is the best.
No.
This is so weird. I don't like
I'm
it.
sorry I derailed us, but I needed to get some internet validation.
Yeah, I couldn't. Alec and I made eye contact. I saw what he was doing. I shake my head. Just no.
I couldn't help.
That's enough.
That's enough.
Richard and his team asked participants to rank how they would prefer to experience ASMR if YouTube videos weren't the only option. Receiving light touches with my eyes closed ranked first, followed by sounds and then visual triggers. So the people want to be touched, but I think what's happening is you're watching these videos and like it triggers the feeling of being touched. And that's why people like it.
Want to be touched for real. I don't want my eardrums to be touched. I want somebody to take their fingernails or a brush and put it smoothly and softly across my skin.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what like I imagine like when you use like one of those head massagers, like the little like spindly things, or someone tickles your back or your arm, like, and you do get like, I get little tingles from that. Like I assume that's what like the feeling of ASMR
definitely
is, but some people like you can get it from sound, which I can't.
Sorry, loser.
I I wonder if it has something to do with like suggestibility, like being able to be hypnotized, like like giving into the power of suggestion. Like you're watching this video, it's suggesting that you're being touched, and so your body like feels like it is, you know?
Yeah, I wanted that too. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Just burped right into the mic. I'm sorry, guys.
So Richard says that this mirrors the way humans experience senses when they're first born. So when you are a newborn, the first sense that you really get is touch. That's how most of the communication happens. Your parents or whoever is like hugging you, stroking you, and then your hearing develops. And the very last sense in humans to develop is our eyesight. And that's why that ranks last on our scale of preferences. So ASMR possibly echoes childhood experiences of feeling safe.
I wonder if animals experience ASMR.
Yeah, I don't know.
probably do.
I mean, they definitely like to be touched.
Yeah.
Yeah. Richard says, quote, "The reason people get tingles and feel relaxed and comforted listening to Maria gentle whispering is because she's acting very much the way a parent would care for you, with the caring glances, gentle speech, and soothing hand movements. And a lot of the time she's doing stimulated touching. It's a pattern of recognition. Our brains recognize the pattern of someone with a caring glance, someone with a gentle whisper, and we find that comforting." Which makes sense. But again, I feel like you have to get over the weirdness factor watching the video.
I don't think I can get over the weirdness factor.
Yeah. Richard found that 3/4 of participants use ASMR to help them fall asleep. 1/3 say the videos make them feel less sad. And some people say the videos help them manage their anxiety or depression. So it's possible that one day ASMR could have therapeutic applications, possibly some really tangible ones, because a 2018 study found that ASMR reduced participants' resting heart rate by 3.41 beats per minute, which is pretty significant.
Wow, I'm glad it works for some people. This sounds like we're really on to something.
Yeah, it is. And it's just like cool that like we can just like unlock like weird parts of someone's brain by showing them a creepy video.
What if like the police start using ASMR as like a tactic to get riots calmed down?
Oh my God. I mean, it would be a much better than the current method of beating them and throwing fucking tear gas. Yeah. Making ASMR as if, with this reducing your heart rate, it makes ASMR as effective as music-based stress reduction and more effective than mindfulness and acceptance-based intervention for anxiety.
Wow. Suck on that.
Yeah.
Buddha.
So it's no wonder that ASMR has become mainstream. It's so popular that there are even live ASMR experiences that you can attend.
Crazy.
Imagine getting invited to that. Like, no. Why would I want to go to that?
Thank you.
The most famous one, I think, is called the Whisper Lodge, which has locations in New York, San Francisco, and LA. And basically it has someone that stands up there and like whispers into a microphone. They might even do crowd work, like go around and whisper in people's ears, touch them with a hairbrush, and then like, you know, make all the classic material noises like into the microphone.
This is giving me actual shivers.
Companies like Michelob Ultra, KFC, IKEA, Dove, and Ritz crackers have all used ASMR in commercials. And if you'd like to get into ASMR yourself, there are tens of thousands of YouTube videos. I see them a lot on TikTok as well, so you can watch them. Apparently, Bob Ross videos are also really big in the ASMR community.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, because he has that like relaxing voice, and you have the visual of him painting. It's all very soothing. So that's my lesson on ASMR.
Wow. I think that lesson, out of all the lessons that give me shivers and chills, that one has given me the absolute most.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was so triggering for you.
I didn't either. It's something I just don't talk about it. Wow. I'm taking off my headphones. You just started clicking. The worst part was the whispering. So never do that again.
All right. Well,
please.
I'm going to whisper my sources for you.
Okay. I'm logging off.
Here are my sources.
Bye.
How researchers are beginning to gently probe the science behind find ASMR by Livy Copeland on SmithsonianMag.com, ASMRUniversity.com, 22 Interesting Facts About ASMR by Meredith Danko on MentalFloss.com, and An Oral History of ASMR by E.J. Dickinson on RollingStone.com, PsychologyToday.com, and Whisper It ASMR videos or The Quiet Revolution Going Global by Donna Ferguson on TheGuardian.com.
You can put your headphones back on now.
I think you have a career in this. So from what I heard, it sounded like something people who like whispering sounds would be into.
Oh, thank you. I kept getting a frog in my throat and like I was really close to making some gross noises
Too much
by
mucus.
accident. So that was it's actually pretty hard for me. It's amazing that people can like make those whispery videos that are like 20 minutes long.
Yeah,
It's a real talent. Well, if you got through this episode, if you're not disgusted by ASMR like Hayley, thank you so much for listening. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe anywhere you possibly can. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your best friend, tell your dog, tell your
doctor,
professor, your doctor,
your therapist.
Comment on your favorite ASMR artist's video, telling them to listen to Night Classy. You know the drill. And if you want to help the show keep going and be part of our inner circle, you can donate to us on Patreon and hear those new episodes we just recorded. Hopefully they'll be posted when this comes out. Alex says they will be. There is, again, a new list pitch and a new trivia episode. So check that out. And as always, thank you for listening. We love you. And 3, 2, 1, class dismissed.
Great episode, y'all.